still raining, and I'm gonna go ahead and get started working on this barrel key. And shouldn't take too much. Gonna do a little grinding down on it. I'll move this out of the way of the vise so that I can do that. However, I'm gonna make this into a whole separate video. So for right now, let's just go into time-lapse mode while I work on this. See you in a minute. Okay, y'all, we are gonna make a key for a barrel lock. This was what was brought in. Let's take a good look at it real quick. That is a pretty neat little profile, like almost a Christmas tree type profile. So of course I can't really replicate that. However, I can make a better key than what was sent in with it. This happens quite a bit with people with antique keys. They think this key belongs to the piece of furniture, and it doesn't. Mainly because it's too narrow right here. If we see, hold that next to that, we can see that it is not wide enough, more than likely, to actuate the bolt and make it throw back, and it actually can break the lock. It may have very well broken this one. Looks like somebody has forced that back. In fact, the person who dropped it off said somebody helped them get it open, and you can see that it's been forced back there. So no telling what's wrong with it. However, if you also look in there, we can see some nice little warding going on, and that would be what this is, this front warding of the key. Customer chose. We gave her a choice on all these keys of the ones that were able to be done. Out of them, we had it had to be a bigger hole. Let's see how big that hole is right there. So these particular keys, these two right here, are a smaller hole diameter. So those were not in the choices. However, all these other ones were. You can see that goes over it fine. And out of all of them, they picked this particular key, so that's what we're going to be using. It's wide enough. It is tall enough, which means it's going to have to be trimmed down a little bit, and trimmed down there as well. Now, some people have asked me about why I always take off material from the back of the key instead of the front. There's one simple reason for that. A lot of these locks, see how long that post sticks out? Well, there is a limit to the depth that this goes, and depending on the key, they go, you know, it's this deep or this deep or this deep or this deep, whatever the case is. There have been many cases where I try to make a key for something, and that hole in here is not deep enough to go down the post if it's sticking out too far. Now, while this post isn't sticking out very far at all, that does not mean that this key does not fit a door or a drawer in the same piece of furniture that does have a longer post. So to minimize the risk on that, instead of just grinding off the front of it to make it shorter, I'll always take off the back of it. It's a little bit harder to do, unfortunately. However, it's safer in the long run to do it that way. So anyway, let's get to cutting down this key. We're going to start off on the bench grinder to give it its basic profile, and then switch to hand file. Shouldn't take too long, but we do have to cut that front ward cut as well. But let's get it trimmed down on the bench grinder first.
dirty. And Jackson water's dirtier.
No,
One more.
that's not a go.
One more.
Not a go. Okay, alright. Just the skin. Just a flesh wound.
Just be still.
Okay.
Well, can we put a Band-Aid on it?
Yeah, we're gonna have to put a Band-Aid on because it's bleeding.
Band-Aids.
You use that whole bag of Band-Aids on that lady? You use paper, right?
Pretty much.
Oh, luckily it cauterized it.
Come here. You know, direct this bitch. Where'd that tape go? I just saw it.
GoPro, stop recording.
No, keep recording. Record. Turn on.
This one's still recording.
Oh, great. Come here.
That hurt like a son of a bitch. Sorry about showing y'all blood. It took off the skin of my finger, y'all. That was just stupid on my
Would you
part.
just come sit down?
Okay, we have a new addition to this video. That's a bandaged finger. It's just a flesh wound. But we're going to put this front notch in it. And to do that, we're going to push it in and just kind of turn it side to side and see if it leaves a mark. Yep, kind of left a mark right there. So I'm going to clamp this guy up real quick. I need padding though. I've got to get my little pads. Oh, let's see how that sucker lines up. Looks like it's gonna, but I gotta file the little burrs on the side of the key. We can do that with a hand file. Let's go ahead and move over. Alright, get the basic profile now. That's kind of what it looks like. Still haven't been cleaned up totally yet. But we always have finish work involved with these guys. So clean this up just a bit. Clean the back edges a bit. And what we probably have is the key is not going past the bolt work. So on this particular lock, we see the bolts in the front. So that means whatever's keeping this bolt from going back is a spring that's behind. So when we put this in there and turn it, we come and it hits. And we can see it's just a hard stop. So if it was springy, that means that it would be hitting a lever inside instead of the bolt, but in fact it's hitting the bolts. On this particular key, we're going to have to bring the back edge down, and if you look really close, I don't know if you can tell on that GoPro, but there is marks right there where it won't pass by that bolt. So basically we're cutting down the back edge of it about there. Because we hold it up and see that is about where the bolt is. So I'm going to do this probably here. Let's move this over here. There we go. Because I don't think we have to cut it down very far to pass that bolt, honestly. Pretty sure we don't. Oops, that was a little too much. And we could possibly bring the whole key down, but I want to start off with the bolt section just to be sure. I'm just going to take it down a little bit for right now. Yeah, just a little bit, because honestly this is probably just a one lever lock. Still not going by it there. Okay, so now it's sticking right there. That means we're right there on it, probably. Let's see where it's marking. If it's marking, I don't see any marks. Okay, so it's passed into the bolt area and starting to try to actuate that lever, but I think it's probably still a little too tall. Yep, got a mark right there, so it's probably just flat across. We'll go ahead and take it down. And it's beautiful. Now what we gotta do is clean up the edges. Give it that rounded shape. And we are good. So thanks for watching, y'all. If you have any questions or comments on this or any other antique locks, I'll try to answer them by posting it in the comments section. And as always, if you are a customer watching this and need keys made for your antique locks, we do ship and receive these from people all over the country. So send us an email with a picture of your lock, preferably a good one like that, and we'll try our best to help you get a key. This little ledge is probably unnecessary, but it's also not hurting anything. If it was tight, it would, but it's not tight. It's perfect. So there we go. Thanks for watching.